Welcome to another episode of the Metal Roundup. Today, we're going to be looking at if we were to start a metal band in 2026. Don't worry, we're not. But from what we see that's going on and what we kind of interpret ourselves, what do we think might make for the right concoction of elements to launch a band successfully in this era? So we're going to get to that in a little bit. But first, we're going to catch up on what's been going on in our lives and maybe some new releases we've checked out that we kind of think are worth talking about in this podcast. First and foremost, I'm having myself a Maker's Mark and Coke to celebrate the fact that I finished my day job finally. I walked out of the office for the last time today. I'm now a full-time YouTuber. I'm fucking delighted, and I'm super excited. So thanks.
Welcome to the club, brother.
Yeah.
Cheers. It is the middle of the day. Steve's being irresponsible, but he's allowed today. Yep. But I am in a different country, so I can't even justify having a drink for Steve right now. So non-alcoholic, I found it in the fridge. But yeah, man, congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, cheers. You have the hard job of describing what you do for work now to people. Are you a YouTuber, content creator?
Yeah, content creator I just think is so vague, but yeah.
You can do entrepreneur if you want to be hoity-toity.
Entrepreneur, yes.
It really just depends on who you're talking to, Steve. Like, you'll find that some people you'll be like, oh yes, I'm a content creator, and some people you'll get into real detail, and then some people you're just like, yeah, I work in the music industry is another one that I'll use sometimes just when I'm really not arsed getting into it with people, because I'm just like, there's no fucking point. Yeah.
Yes. And how fitting. I love the fact that I've just literally gone from the office straight into a podcast, as is fitting of the new world with you, lad. So I can't think of anything I'd rather do than this right now. So it's exciting. Yes. What about yourselves? Burb, what's been going on in your world? Anything interesting?
On a personal note, no, not really. But in terms of music releases, have you guys checked out the Poppy record? It literally just came out. So
yeah, no, is it an album or an EP? I've been
it's an album.
Too busy. Okay.
Well, I don't know if that's something that we want to touch on, but I definitely would love to know Drew's thoughts on that. So,
I saw he put a story on his Instagram linked to Patreon with like the sort of smiling, sweating emoji. Like,
did you see the thumbnail though?
No.
I can't believe that's what caught your eye. The thumbnail is me asleep on the thumbnail. Like, I'm literally with my eyes closed, and you just notice the little emoji in the corner.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We can wait until maybe next week when I've checked it out. But I'll based on the recent singles, I'm not expecting it to be wild. So it sounds like it might be.
No, it's not that bad. It's just I had a moment in it, like towards the end, where there's a slower song where I just went like in the video, and I kind of made a joke out of it where I was just pretending to fall asleep. It was getting a bit boring, but I just kind of leaned into it more because it was funny. And then I was just like, yeah, this is the thumbnail. But it's alright. Yeah. Herb, you heard it?
Yeah, so I will say it's very similar to Architects, the Sky, the Earth, and All Between. Like, because Jordan Fish.
Fish fingered it. Sure.
He fish fingers, but I actually liked it. So I'm surprised. Ooh. I'm surprised. Okay. Now, it does follow a lot of the critiques that I have with modern metal, but I don't know. I had a good time with it.
Can you do your catchphrase, please?
Let's fucking do it. That's not chit chat.
It's your new one.
How do I know
you're a little generic?
Oh yeah. No, my that's enough chit chat. But yeah, that's a little generic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's uber generic, but it's fine. Like, I mean, I think we mentioned it before on this podcast, but like, if everything is progressive, then nothing is progressive. So you do need these, I guess, more pop infused metal albums and shit. But I couldn't really be arsed talking to. Maybe I need a week to just like decompress with the album, because I just yapped so much about it already today.
Let's do that, because I've also not heard it.
Steve hasn't heard it, so we'll let Steve weigh in.
Okay, Grant. So that's my emails have been lighting up with new releases, getting mailed out from labels and PR firms. Like, this is a busy week. Like, the industry is cranked up to full gas at this stage in 2026. So there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to. Well, I'll have more time next week, so I can check out a lot of it. Hopefully.
Yes, sir. Good. You will indeed.
Another one is Humanity's Last Breath. Steve, have you checked that out?
I have. I enjoyed it. I loved the first third of it and the last third of it. And in the middle, I think it kind of lost its way for me a little bit. So I've not ended up putting it on the channel, but I'll share it on my Patreon. But the first third, I was like, this is fucking sexy ass industrial heaviness. Oh! And then it just got a bit weird. Not even weird. It just kind of went a bit shapeless in the middle. I was like, eh.
Yeah, that's Thal, baby.
Yeah, they'll do it to you. They get a bit weird. But yeah, HLB is good. Looking forward to that album. Yeah, I've kind of just started doing this new thing where the YouTube algorithm seems to be changing a lot in the sense that it will just feed you random small bands or like just random small videos from content creators. And it's working that way with bands as well. I'm just getting like fed like the first song a band has ever like released, and it will have like 1,000 views, and I'll just be like, you know what? I kind of like the idea of just staging the video as a kind of joint experience with myself and the viewer, where it's not like a one-sided thing of you guys suggest a song and I go check it out and you guys know what the outcome is because you enjoy the song. It's kind of like, I don't know what this is going to sound like, and you guys probably don't know what this is going to sound like either, because this is like a really small unknown band, random algorithm pull, and some of them have been really fun. Like I'm just like finding random songs, and then even if the song kind of sucks, it's still an interesting conversation to have with maybe people who are just watching the video along with me, and they're like, oh yeah, I actually really enjoyed this, or yeah, you're right, this was kind of weird. So I'm rolling with that a little bit, just like trying to think of a name. Someone suggested Wheel of Fortune, which I think just makes so much sense.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was just perfect. So I was like, I think I'm going to make a little thing of it, a little playlist, and just throw them in, because it just means that you don't really need to be relying, I guess, on you know, bands that you're necessarily into or waiting for to like drop music, because we had that little bit of a small drought periods for the past couple of weeks, which is fair with the new year. So it was fun to just kind of like randomly check just bands out. Like even that the Sunborn band, they just popped up in my algorithm, and I was just like, oh fuck it, I'll check it out. And that video ended up doing pretty well. So I was like, okay, this is a cool little series. And I think I did it with I knew Save Us already, but they just popped up in my algorithm. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. And then the Zenobia one as well was kind of like another situation like that, where it was like, let's just do it. Like, you guys probably don't know this band, I don't really know them, let's just see if it's any good. So yeah, just a fun little series.
I like it. The only risk to it is you've been fortunate so far.
I like it. Well done.
But you know, you could have a run of 20 songs that aren't even interesting enough in a not interesting way. You know, you'd be like, I don't have much to say about this. And then it's like, it's a ton of time. But hopefully, you know, it sounds fun. Like that could be a great thing to do, like live on Twitch. Yeah. And people just watch you as you just click through the YouTube recommendations to see where the fuck it ends up. Yeah, like I had another one. There was a song called Hole. It just, again, it popped up in my and sometimes thumbnails do it for me. That's maybe it's maybe too early for a segue, but that would be a really good segue right now to go into our conversation later about if we were starting a band, because I think the thumbnail of a music video is so important just to get me interested. And there's been a couple that have just caught my eye, and this one, 157. There's a new band called 157. They have a song called Hole.
I saw that. That showed up on my feed, actually.
Like bands are just, and I just checked it out, and it's like the most. It's kind of like beat down hardcore with some like metal or new metal flair in there, but it's just like really fucking heavy, kind of like Boundaries, like just really raw sounding. And I didn't love the song, but it brought up a fun conversation point, which made the series feel like it had some legs just in terms of something to continue doing. Because even though I didn't love the song, it made me think of this might be a cool direction for bands to start going in, because these guys were so clearly not AI because of how authentic they sounded. Like it was so raw, almost to a fault in a way, but it kind of sounded good because I am not fatigued by it. I do love the modern metal production and shit, but this was just nice. It was like the complete opposite end of the spectrum of like the kind of AI pop bands like Poppy today, and then this was just like so polar opposite. So yeah, it's funny, everyone just seems to be getting served the same videos on YouTube at the moment. I don't know how it's happening.
It is interesting how they're changing the algorithm for that too, and it does seem like they're kind of like pushing shorts too. So I don't know. It does seem like smaller creators are getting a little bit more of a voice. So I think it's cool. Which is great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. All right. If there's no other updates,
there's not really a lot going on. Diamond Constructs dropped a new song. Did you guys hear that one?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I've been too busy this week for any new music.
I heard like the chorus
below as well, actually. Fuck.
Above below, yeah. I heard the chorus snippet of Diamond Construct, and it sounded a little, I don't know, but yeah, above.
I quite liked it. Yeah.
Above below, which it feels like you're really loving, Drew.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying them. I don't know, just real pristine sounding metalcore to me. It's kind of like. It is in the same vein as what we've heard a lot from like Invent Animate in the past. It has that same kind of glossy feel to it. But yeah, I don't know. They just have like certain nuances to their music that I'm already starting to pick up on, that is like, oh, this is their sound, you know? The way they intro this song was kind of similar to the likes of Scorpion. So I'm like starting to piece those together. But then they can get real proggy and just like real random switch ups and shit. So yeah, I'm excited for that album. That'll be next month.
I hope they get more progressive with the album personally. Like Melting Amber is still my favorite song from them. And then like even on their last album, Lotus Chapters, some of the weirder like acoustic sections and stuff. Like I like it when they get like weird. The past two tracks just feel like more, invent animate style of metalcore. Like they're fucking really good at it. And when Jacob does those clean vocals, it has like a very different kind of sense of like pop feel. Like his patterns just feel different than other clean singers. And like, it's weird to say clean singers, but you know what I mean, right? So
singers.
Yeah. I'm stoked for the album though. I fucking love Above Below. They're always been one of my favorite metalcore bands, but these two singles just feel a little bit more, just like, I don't want to say, they feel more traditional, I guess, for prog metalcore.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, they're kind of like a fine wine in modern metalcore for me. They're like really like top tier, like quality, like a lot of attention to detail. You can clearly see there's a lot of like nothing feels hollow. Everything feels really thought out, and the sound design's cool. But yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. I really enjoyed the new singles, really growing on me as well. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. Have you heard it yet, Steve? I guess probably not.
I've because it's been the last week of work. That's kind of taken over everything else this week. But yeah, there's a lot this week that I want to get to. One song I discovered recently, it came out actually like a month ago, a band called XO Armor. Have I mentioned them before?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, because like, because I think we did, right? Or maybe it was off camera. But yeah, I remember you saying that you enjoyed it too because
Pyromancer is cool.
Yeah, or maybe I'm getting confused with somebody else. Sorry, this already happened with Showing Teeth. So because like
that was fucking funny. So yeah, I was talking about Showing Teeth, one of the best songs of last year. Fucking incredible. I can't wait for their next one. Song called Labyrinth. Unbelievable. That metal artist can be huge. I stand by that. And I was also talking about the sexiest song of last year separately was by Tropic Gold for me, a song called Holy Horror. And I saw that you had checked out Showing Teeth. And in your intro, like, apparently Steve says it's the sexiest song of 2025. I'm like, no. Different song. So watching your face being like, all right, what's Steve into? Why does he think this is sexy?
Maybe Steve's into some kinky shit because holy crap. Like,
yeah. No, different song. But what did you think of Showing Teeth's Labyrinth? I mean, I didn't watch all the video. I'm sorry, I didn't have time.
Yeah, it seems like she's getting some hype too. I think she's already had like a following, so that probably helps too. And then Matt Halpern on drums. Like there's already some like credentials there. The song, I don't know. Look, I feel like a negative Nancy lately, man. Like a lot of stuff is just not hitting, but I felt like the song was good. Like the whole like going into like a screamy verse and then the light chorus and then the bridge being like some groove just felt very bland. But I do like the melodies and the chorus. I do like her raw, intense scream in the verses. Like it is like there is potential. I just feel like the song idea wise wasn't overly interesting for me. But I
understand that.
I see a lot of people in the comments really liking it. So it's just me being maybe just jaded, I guess. I don't know.
It's got two flavors in the song. There's like the groovy, the heavy kind of pocket, and then there's a kind of beautiful majestic stuff. And if you enjoy both of those pockets, it ricochets between them for the song. I think spin that song a couple times, you'd be like, fuck yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, and the dude's got a bossy guitar, so I'm like waiting for him to just like rip some cool solo or something, but it was just grooves, which is fine, but
that's my shit, man.
I love grooves too.
And the drumming on that is fucking fierce. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah, Matt Halpern's a fucking animal.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. Well, let's get into our main topic of conversation then for today. And before we do so, if you've just joined this for the first time and you haven't done this yet, subscribe. It's free to do so, and you can join us for more of these jolly metal-based conversations like this one. So, if you are starting a new metal band in 2026, and you're like, what should I do? What are the ingredients I need in order for this thing to be a success? These are just opinions, but these are our thoughts, perhaps, on what we see that is working for other bands. And perhaps as part of this, if you were to start a band, what would you do? What would your choices be? So to begin, there's kind of a few different elements I want to chat through here. Like, what do we think in terms of like songwriting decisions would be interesting, themes and concepts, presentation, how much does that matter or not? Social media stuff, what we've seen work that bands have been doing in our world. What kind of release schedule do we think helps build hype around bands that are new? And yeah, other bits and pieces. Should you get a record label? Is that a helpful thing? Well, there's an interesting talk about that, I think. So to begin, if you were hearing this new band starting, what do you hope they would do in terms of songwriting?
Right. So I want to preface this before we get into it. I have not created any music in my past. So I am, not that I like need to specify this, but I guess just in terms of being involved from the position that I'm in with,
you
like,
don't
just
have
being,
to have. You've seen a lot.
Just being,
the lens
I
you
want to
have.
just make it no, just from the get go, because I know you'll have the comments of like, what is this going on? But yeah, from a music fan's perspective who is heavily involved in the day to day of new releases and everything, what would be a good starting point musically? You see, it's a tough one, because if you're just looking, if the objective is purely to just grow a band and not, I think the objective should just be to make the fucking music that you want to make. I think that's just the full stop. I think that's just it. And I guess the conversation that maybe we could offer a lot of insight into is more so, you guys look after the musical side of things, do whatever the fuck it is. I think that's the main, thing that you should follow, is just like chase whatever it is that you're passionate about, because that will ultimately shine through. Because if you're not passionate about music or something specifically that you're writing, it's going to show. It's the people that are passionate about what they're actually writing that ends up being really, really good, regardless.
And you'll
of,
eventually hate yourself if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess the main thing is obviously to just follow exactly what it is that you want to do. But if we're talking like purely from a commercial standpoint, like what music is popping right now, I guess you just have to kind of look around at the trends. I guess the more alternative charts and the trends. If you want to go into the core direction, you kind of have to have a breakdown. I mean, if you really want to at least get yourself out there, if you're starting from scratch, I would say you have to have a breakdown. Again, if this is just purely trying to get your shit out there as quickly as possible. Like, is that how we're, there's so many angles we can attack this.
Yeah. We could probably have a whole conversation about the music side for like an hour.
Yeah.
Because in my world, I really, my instinct is like, well, do something in the songwriting that is different, that makes you stand out. Like, that's kind of an obvious thing to say, sure, because then people are more likely to find you interesting as something that's separate from the rest. But I also like, Bill Murray's, for example, I mean, it's not necessarily metal, but the songs are pretty formulaic in terms of their structure, and I fucking love it. Like, I like structure that I can expect. I also like, unusual, progressive, linear journey songs as well. Kind of depends on what is authentic to you, what you enjoy making, and just kind of look into doing that thing for what it is. You can definitely, if you're going like, how do I be as successful as possible? And you can see bands doing this increasingly. It's like, what can I create that is a sort of roller coaster, fanfare, blockbuster, surprising heavy metalcore song that would do well in reaction channel content and things. And I think if that is authentically what you love and you want to do, that'll probably come across and probably work. But if you're sort of doing this as like a metalcore by numbers thing, it's probably not going to work out, I think.
Yeah, no, if you're definitely metalcore by numbers, but like, Drew, you're saying, prefacing this by like saying that we're not songwriters or anything, which is absolutely true. But to defend us a little bit, we do have a unique position of just checking out so much music, making so much content around the music that I feel like we hear a lot of similar patterns. And then when something stands out, we can just sense it. I'm sure like there's like certain songs where just like, holy shit, that was really cool. And then you want to make a short or like a video on it. And then other people end up like kind of seeing what you're seeing too with the song too, because the song just stands out. Like, I feel like we just hear so many patterns that we want to make videos for those songs that stand out. And those songs that stand out, first, I think like the number one thing is just talent. Like, it's easier said than done. But if you have a vocalist that is very powerful or just doing something a little bit different, has a unique cadence, that will just stand out, right? Or a guitar riff or something. Like, there's like, it's funny because like there's so many riffs, we're recycling so many of the same chord progressions, but then all it takes is like a certain groove or feel that just feels a little bit different. And it's so much easier said than done. But like just having something that just stands out a little bit more is like the first thing in songwriting, which is like, you know, it just comes with like practice. It comes with time. It comes with just like so many different variations until you do something that just kind of clicks. And I think that's what every band is trying to do. But yeah, essentially, if like we covered obviously a lot of metalcore and, you know, kind of stuff. And a lot of these bands are using the same plugins. They're doing the same chord progressions. They're doing the same riffs. They're just borrowing ideas off each other. That will get buried if there's something that just feels a little bit distinctly different with the groove, or maybe sonically your tones are just a little bit different, or maybe vocally the vocalist is doing something a little bit different. Maybe it's an interesting call out, maybe lyrically, doesn't matter. Or maybe it's like a crazy drum section before it gets into this cool groove. Like there's like so many different angles you can do at it, but it's just literally trying to do something that is not borrowing influence of all the previous bands existing, doing something a little bit different, which is, again, way easier said than done. And this is why I just listen to music instead of create music. Right.
Do you know what? I think it's, people might think like, how do I fucking do that? What I've noticed it seems to work authentically in this world is that the bands that are different aren't necessarily doing specific things that no one's ever done before, but they might have listened to a bunch of metal, but also a bunch of R&B or a bunch of pop or jazz or funk or whatever it is. And if you combine all the things you love about all the music you like, that combination could be unique. You know, I think that's essentially how you got a band like Sleep Token, for example, or a band like Villanova. Like and those bands are very fucking different from each other. Or it's the same thing as like, you know, Bill Murray having this sort of country style with the metalcore, you know, sort of tones and guitars and things like that is a unique combination. Like if I were starting a band, I'd be trying to figure out a way to have something that's heavy and metal and is all those things I love, but also has some fucking how the funkiness of like Dirty Loops and the great sing-along choruses of like the pop punk bands that I like. Like I haven't heard a band necessarily that has all of those in it. The closest I can think of is maybe Oralize, because they have some great funkiness and it's metalcore, it's heavy, but it's also like catchy sing-along. So that's a sort of sweet spot that I would probably be trying to put together if I were doing that. I'm not, but
to add to that, I would say influences from everything, not just music. Like Sleep Token, drink every time we mention them, right? But like
I can now.
I know, yeah, exactly. But do it, party, man. But say like they clearly have like an Elden Ring influence. It's like taking influence from other things, like even like Silent Planet. Influence from literature, and C.S. Lewis is where they got their band name from. It's just like it doesn't just have to be music. Like what are the interests of all these members, and what is like something that you guys can all align on and create musically? So like you can definitely get like the music right, but maybe there's like more to it with like the thematically, which we'll probably touch on, right? But like
let's do that next. Yeah, I mean, as we pivot to that, 156 Silence, they like really kind of old school horror movies, and that sort of injects into their musical tone, and it works. I think it's fucking cool.
Yeah, I think I see it a lot. Like my algorithm on TikTok is kind of being filtered into this world of band help, and there's like band gurus, people who are in bands that will kind of post content on a personal page about how bands should go about their marketing and stuff like that. And I think people can get very like caught up in a lot of these things. There's a lot of like mental masturbation that I think everyone does, not only in like music but in every walk of life, where they spend so long thinking about the thing that they should be doing as opposed to just doing the thing, which might be like actually playing the instrument. And I do it myself as well, even with the guitar. It's like I need to watch all the videos on how to play the guitar before I just sit down and fucking practice it. And I see that a lot with like bands and the marketing and the whole industry that's like involved around not only the industry of marketing bands, but now the industry of telling bands how they should be marketing bands, where there's like individual channels saying that, you know, you should focus on posting at this time of day or like this time of day. But then when you really boil it down, you can use like 3 different bands, for example. Let's use Sleep Token. We've already mentioned it. Steve, have a drink, please. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I'm in real trouble now. I just realized.
Yeah. So bands like, I'll save you another drink. A band's like the Masked Band in question. And then a band like Health, for example. And then a band like Villanova. Because you could do all of the, I'll use the mental masturbation term again, where you like think about everything so much about like, how is this music going to be presented? And this and that. But there can't be a rule book on it, because if you look at Sleep Token, it's very cryptic and they hold everything back. Sorry, I didn't even think about that one. They hold everything back. They have remained as identityless as possible, and they've done all of the cryptic messaging. Villanova have jumped on their social media and made meme videos and they just take the piss, and they're very funny, but they're also like, their music they take very seriously, although there is like elements of comedy within the music videos and stuff. Ultimately it's very serious musically. They take that craft very seriously. And then Health are like also complete piss takers, but their music is very industrial and dark and serious. So ultimately the music is the only thing that fucking matters, because of all these bands, if their music sucks, no one's going to be tuning in for Villanova's hilarious short form videos, because it's like, it's just another like content creator. And I guess I can tie into another point that I was thinking of when we were talking about this topic is, I think in terms of the practical side of things, bands should be very careful with the route they decide to travel down when it comes to promoting their music, because I know it can be tempting in the social media world to almost become like a vlogger or like a personality on their band's account, if that makes sense. And then they'll start to gain followers because of maybe their takes or their certain thing. And it's not actually about the music anymore. It's kind of maybe a similar situation to us, where we could easily fall into the trap of bringing in loads of subscribers from like doing like K-pop reactions and, you know, the biggest rap stars and pop stars in the world. Then we'd bring in loads of subscribers, and from the outside looking in, it would look like we have this big following, this massive supporting, you know, hundreds of thousands of new viewers every month. But in reality, we've agreed on this before, that it's better to have like a core audience of people that know exactly what they're going to get from you. And like, you know, with us, we've niched into the metal space. I think bands can definitely fall into that trap. And I've seen it a lot, where you see these small bands on Spotify with like very low like streaming numbers that have like hundreds of thousands of followers, because they've kind of leaned so far into the world of just like becoming a vlogger almost. And to them, that's kind of like justifying it, because they have this big following count, and it's like, but it's not equating to what they actually want, which is people to listen to their music. So definitely focus your short form on, if you are doing some kind of a talking video, have it somehow be linked in with the music. Like, don't just have an opinion on something without somehow shoehorning the song into the background, where people can be like, oh, what's that? Or, you know, something about, you know, the actual song itself, I think is a practical piece of advice from me seeing it, you know, over the years.
Yeah. I've seen that time and again, and people talk about that a lot. Something Lauren Babick said to me in an interview, that it's like, you kind of want to be scared of going viral for a random video, because then you have a massive audience that want that thing, which is not the thing you want them to want, which is your music. So like, it'll be a longer grind potentially, but if you keep your content about the music that you're doing, then that people will be coming back for that, and then that's how you convert to like ticket sales and actually grow the fandom. So that's pretty important. And I think, you know, to the point of the band you were saying earlier, Villanova, their shorts were funny, kind of conceptual things, but it was always with their music being the center point of the thing. Yeah. So that kind of helped, I think, there.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing as well is just on the kind of like, even, I don't know about you guys, but there's sometimes I'll go onto a band's Instagram. If I don't know the band, like, this is not taking into account the music at all here, but your like visual aesthetic can definitely hurt the overall opinion. That's why you see like the kind of big pristine bands in the scene, like your Sleep Tokens and your Bad Omens. Steve, off you go again. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Why did I agree to this?
Yeah, but you'll see them, like, you just go onto their pages and it's very clean, like their fonts are thought out, their, you know,
Spirit Box, another
the
one,
way things are cropped in.
Conscious.
Yeah, it's just like, it's branding. It's literally, it's the same way as any sort of branding that you'd see with like big popular brands like Apple or whatever, where you just recognize things straight away. I think that's very, very important, because sometimes you'll go onto a band's page and it's just like a clusterfuck of like random, they might be like accepting every single collaboration that comes their way, and it's just like 20 different accounts that have different styles of thumbnails and shit. And maybe
unless it's us collaborating, then accept it.
Yeah,
right?
Of course, exactly. Yeah, but I think like even shit like that is it's just so. I think that does have a big effect. It's hard to like quantify exactly how much that actually has, like impact, how much impact that actually has, because you don't really see numbers based on it. But it's like this vision in the back of your head that you have of a particular band and a product, you know.
Yeah, but that can work if that is what your band is like. If your band is a lot of variety and different things, then that's sort of a, you know, overview of all your shorts, whatever it is, can kind of make sense. Like if that is, you know, your thing.
I'll disagree there. Okay. I understand what you mean. I do understand what you mean. Like, I think there's a way to have this understand. Like, I'm talking about like sporadic, like making no sense, and it just looks like poo. Like there's just shit everywhere. You know what I mean? Like that is more so what I'm talking about.
Of all the words I was not expecting you to say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like you can have a chaotic branding, but
like what's health like? What is there?
Health is fucking hilarious. It's one of my favorite accounts to follow.
But yeah, again, that's like a band that has just built such a strong fan base as it is.
Yeah,
like they are kind of addressing their fan base.
That's kind of crazy.
So the thing
it's ugly as fuck. I'll agree. Yeah,
but it works for them.
Well, the thing with Health though, if they're before this, they were a noise rock band. They took themselves a little bit more seriously. And then I feel like, I don't know, Johnny and the team just kind of went wild with it. And they got like super cummy and just like fucking kind of gross. Literally 1 in 3 posts will be something about cum. I'm not even kidding.
That's true. I don't think I've ever heard the word cummy before.
I probably learned that from Health. But their account is hilarious. But they've worked into it and they built such a huge community with it. It's kind of cool. But like speaking of like the branding stuff, I totally agree, Drew, that we all agree that it's so important. But like, you know, if we can think of some like recent small band examples, and some of them are Zenobia. Zenobia's got this mysterious aura around her that is very intriguing, and also some of her choice in words. You know, it's definitely influenced by Sleep Token, but it's working, right? In her music, the thing is, like, it wouldn't work if the music wasn't good, but the music does have that mysterious kind of flair. But then another one's like Breakaway. Breakaway was like, we don't know the faces of the members. Instead, every visualizer is just this hand like going around in circles, but there's like a sense of mystery, and that's like kind of their branding. So these are like artists that I'm just thinking of recently that kind of do the mysterious thing.
Yes, but they're both connected in that way.
Yeah.
There's a band I'm thinking of called, do you know Lestel? So they're kind of emo spa-like ambient pop rock pop punk sort of a band. Their social stuff is super cohesive and it's very much themselves. But like they'll film themselves doing rehearsals or playing live, and there's always something interesting that's happened at the live gig that they make the pull at the, you know, the kind of the grabby thing at the start, and you're like, oh, you know, when the singer forgets to do whatever, and you kind of watch to see what happens in this video, and you hear all their music, and it's very consistent, but it's not obscure. It's like, here's who they are. I think they are very, very good at it, because that's what we're talking about before. The music is the central thing of the videos, but you get some of their personality and their character through what their positioning is, why this video exists.
Yeah.
So they were great, very good.
Yeah. And that's like, oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say another one that I wanted to mention instead of like a mysterious band was like I Promise the World, which, yeah, I know you checked out, Steve, but their branding, they're essentially revival core, just bringing back that 2000s screamo kind of music. But if you look at their like music videos, the dude has those long sideburns from like the early 2000s. He's got those tight little like small shirts and stuff with like the cursive kind of font. Like, and even the music video just looks like it was made from like the 2000s.
I think the max res is like 480p.
I don't think. Fun. Every time I watch that video, I have to put on 240p. Like they know exactly what they're doing. And I think that's a big reason why the band's been taking off. Like I feel like in terms of revival core bands, like there's a lot. I'm hearing a lot on my Twitch live streams, but I just see like people, they got signed to Rise Records. That's already a big deal. And their video is already at like 150,000 views. Like they're taking off for a band that doesn't even have an album yet. It's just EPs. But they've nailed the aesthetic. But also, this wouldn't work if the music wasn't good. Musically, it sounds like some of the best revival core stuff that I've heard.
Yeah, they're dialed the fuck in to what they're doing.
Sorry, Drew. What were you going to say?
Yeah, it's kind of gone past this point, but I just did want to specify that with Steve, with the Health Instagram, like. That does look like a clusterfuck. That's what I'm saying. But the point is that Health have built their brand already. Like Health are already an established band massively. Like they've got a lot of monthly listeners. They've got a huge following. So I guess the point of is if we're looking at it from the perspective of like a new band, I would say that what is in your control is that branding aspect. And I think when people are just moseying through Instagram, like doom scrolling or whatever, and they just end up on your page, have something just aesthetically pleasing that might not make them just like have an eyesore and just be like, you know, that would be what I would do. I know some people don't care much. I know Bird worked in marketing and everything for years, so I'm sure he obviously looks into this shit as well. But I just have an eye for it. I like things to look coherent as you like look down it.
Nerd.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, if the music is shit, like, they can have the cleanest branding ever, and you see this with a lot of the AI bands that are cropping up, where they do have like really clean design across the board because it's real futuristic and robotic, because it literally is. And then you click on, you're just like, all right, I'm gone anyway. So, but I at least went and listened to the music for a moment because of the branding, and then I realized it was AI. But if you happen to not be an AI band, your music is really good, if you have that branding, then someone might just be like, you know what, okay, let's give this a listen. And it's like, oh, this is really good music. And then you start to associate the really good music with this pristine branding, and then all of a sudden you put them together. It's kind of like, I keep going back to Above Below, but they just have this, I don't know what it is, and it's very hard. It's not something tangible, which is why it's hard to even try and give tips on it, because
Abstract.
I can't necessarily describe. It's really abstract. And yeah, like, their whole branding across their videos and stuff has been pretty consistent for the past couple of years. Even with the captions on their video, like, being just different. It's just all over the place. It's unique. But musically, again, it's important that their music is the one that kind of sets the precedent, and then the rest follows, I think, is the important part there.
Yep, I would agree. If you were starting your own bands, lads, what kind of a theme concept would you think you'd go for?
First off, I would go back to my initial point, which is talent. I would fucking hone in on guitar and just practice like crazy until I do something a little bit more creative. But then the theme, maybe influences from horror and classical, and bring elements of that.
You said horror. Okay.
Yep.
Horrors?
Bring in some whores.
Talking about coming.
Whores in the videos. I mean, that's not a bad little game plan.
Do you know what? There's not been enough tits and ass in the metal scene for years. We need to bring that shit back.
That's fucking genius. I can't believe they didn't bring that up. Like,
I would bring some whores.
That is a shortcut to success right there. Get some whores in, get some big titties.
Oh dear.
Look, dude, I was in marketing. That's what works.
God, it works. I don't know what to tell you.
That's actually the best piece of advice we've ironically given in this entire video. So
Tits and
like,
ass.
genuine, like, just to get to the point, just make that happen.
Male horse too. This is, all
of course. Big flutes everywhere. Sorry. I meant musical flutes. That was what I would do in my band. I would bring flutes in.
Ironically, your band would fucking go viral.
Yeah.
If your album
Flutes and titties.
art was just like
That
big
could be the band
flutes.
name.
Flutes and tits.
titties.
Flutes and titties.
Okay. Flutes and titties. Yeah. Where do we go from here?
I don't know, man.
I don't even know if Burb finished his description. We got so sidetracked.
I'm over it, man.
Yeah. I would go with, I mean, technique wise, I'm not there to try and go with the really technical guitar play, so I just have to know where I stand. I would just try and figure out how to make something sound nasty, like just open strings, big breakdowns. But I would do what I want to see more of in the scene, if that makes sense. Like, I want to see more of Calandra style bands, and I know that's like asking a lot because Katrina is like one of the fucking best vocalists ever, but I would find someone in Ireland who has a majestic Calandra-esque voice.
Oh yeah, Irish folky sort of
some Irish folk thing.
Awesome.
And I would make it I'd get in touch with fucking Buster or some shit, and I'd be Buster, look, just
if you want a
I'll
Chris
pay whatever
nasty.
it needs, and you just mix those two worlds together. This like Aurora Calandra style, like ethereal vocals with the crushing heaviness of HLB, and I'll just stand there and take all the credit for just slamming open zeros all day and have all this cool production and shit. That's probably asking a lot, but
So nuts.
Yeah. Do
I
it.
think, yeah. So I mean, there we go. If there's anyone who's watching who has a good voice who's Irish, and you have to have like an Irish accent when you sing as well, I think it has to be real, like Celtic and mythical. But yeah, I just, because I know when, like, anytime I listen to Calandra's music and they go slightly heavy, like at all, they don't really go that heavy. I'm just like, holy fuck! Imagine a world where there was a band that like sounded exactly like Calandra, but just really catered to metalheads. It would just be the sickest thing ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a gap in the market there. No one steal my idea. All right, Steve, what about you?
Oh, it's a good question. The problem is, and I don't want any pushback on this. I don't want any compliments. But even though the world does not need any more masked mans, really, I'd probably have to go down that route. because I'm not a handsome man. So I think being I'm a 40-year-old inbound, I think I'm gonna have to obscure who I am. But then what'll be funny is I could never react to my own music, and people are like, "Why the fuck does Steve just hate this band? He never covers them." I'm like, I don't know. Be like completely anonymous. Like, I don't know.
Wait, no, surely you could react to your own music if you're masked. Because then if you don't react to it, then it
wouldn't be genuine. It'd be like, oh, whoa, what a crazy breakdown.
But that's the fucking game plan. Now you use your audience that you've already built to promote your band. This is the metaverse that we're living in right now, Steve. This is the meta here. So to really promote your band is you make the band anonymous, then you make a YouTube channel, you build a YouTube channel doing reactions, and then you react to it. And then the band blows up from your video, even though you are the band.
I get that, but it's too inauthentic.
I'm joking. Yeah, don't actually do that. There's too much time for that. Just make good music and it'll be far, far better.
Yeah. Or like, I just doesn't matter what I like. I'll just be the drummer. That's the instrument I'm best at. I'll be in the background. Who fucking cares? I need to find a sick ass singer. I'd like to write most of the music. Maybe it'd be groovy as fuck. Tell you that. Big sing along choruses, grooves, would be fun.
I know you said it, but don't be so hard on yourself, Steve. I think what you got to do is maybe take your hair and put it into some like crazy weird like pink mohawk.
People in my chat are saying the universe is trying to give me a mohawk.
You could do a Maynard.
Yeah,
shave it off.
Maynard's on the way. Yeah,
I think I probably should shave it off. My wife is like, no, so I'm keeping this for her.
No, that'd be too much change. You going full time and bald in 1 week is too much.
If you can grow out your beard more and then just shave your head and you just
the problem is. As this grows out, it becomes ginger, and I can't have it.
Oh my god! You could be my Irish singer that I'm looking for. Just throw a wig on.
There we go.
Just some few semitones. Change the pitch of your voice, and we're onto something. I mean, I see a future where Burb, you can shred on the guitar because it's most certainly not going to be me. Steve on the drums. And I've got a magical voice, is all I'll say. One day we could make a fantastic band. Now we just need a bass player, but we could save money and just do it with
we're fucking modern metal. We don't need bass.
Rogue and Josh plays bass. We're sorted.
Oh yeah, fuck. Now, Orion's got some screen vocals.
Rehearsals can be hard.
I could do the cleans, is all I'm saying,
We got to do some karaoke when we get together then.
Yes.
I can't sing for shit, but
I most certainly can't, but I have far too much confidence in myself in it. But I think that's all you need. Just a bit of confidence.
Yep.
And a little bit of alcohol.
Hey, do you know what? And if we're shit, we're like, no, we're going for that really raw, authentic sound. We are trying not to sound too polished.
Trailblazers. Yeah. And we can just be masked, so it wouldn't matter because then it's just like, who cares if we're shit, We're masked. Doesn't matter.
What would the mask look like?
Well, listen, I don't know why I'm throwing shade at a new band. Don't listen to me. But like Sunborn, I thought maybe that was one of the weaker band looks I've seen. It looked like he put a pair of tights on his head. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's pretty. It looks like a beehive on his head. But yeah, it's just like it's funny because like I don't really give a fuck about the whole mask thing, but I just know that people do. So it's just an easy sell when you're doing like a thumbnail or something. You just put it in. It's like people are gonna like it. But I don't put that much weight on it. I know a lot of people think I do because that's what I like use for a snippet of a clip or like the talking point. But ultimately, again, if the music is ass, I'm not going to share it. But if the music is fun and there's something there that I actually think is fun, and I know that the landscape that we live in is that people enjoy the masks. And even if they don't, the people that do not enjoy the masks will actually make more noise about the masks than the people who do enjoy the masks. So it's a no-brainer to post it. It's just like, you're going to send the video crazy anyway. So like, you're actually a part of the issue here. But yeah, what our masks would look like, Burb, is a good question.
I like the idea of being just like hooded cloaks. I've been watching a lot of Traitors. It's a great TV show.
So
I need to get into that show.
So we'd have we could wear, what do they call it, like morph suits, like black morph suits. We just have no face and just a cloak. The problem is though, you'd have no facial emotion you can transmit. I think part of what works for Sleep Token is you've got the mouth, you've got half of the mouth, so you can get a little bit of the expression of vessels. I think that works.
The thing is, we have to keep it with our branding. So I think it should just be like yellow, just a fucking yellow mask. Maybe just like cut around the lips. So
Can
it's just
we say gold rather than yellow?
No, it has to be yellow. It has to be
it's like gonna be like yellow. Luminous yellow. We could do like the
nuclear hazard.
Like the sun in the Teletubbies. I feel like we could just all be like big suns. But then our music would be really raw and heavy. So it's like this juxtaposition, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, you heard the new band?" And then it's like, you look at it and you're like, what? So that's already good marketing.
Come on My Face. They're really good. I don't know why I thought of that.
I mentioned this before. Wait, what did you say?
I just thought of like the sun, because you've got the face in the sun.
Holy shit, Steve. That was the biggest curveball I've ever been sent to this podcast.
I was too busy in my own thoughts. I don't even know what happened.
His name suggestion was just, we could just call it "Come on my face." All right, Steve. Okay, bro.
How do I miss that?
There? Hey guys, why don't we just?
I need to stop drinking. I couldn't remember the name. What was it?
Dude?
We were the sad boy cry wankers.
I know. But you did just randomly say we could call it. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we just come on each other's faces and call it a band?
That's not what I said. That is not what I said.
Yeah, that's too far. That's too far, Drew.
I had to exaggerate it. Sorry. Yeah, I had to get Steve out of the hole there. I just had to make it worse. Anyways, have we offered anything insightful in this episode?
Early on, yes, but we've gone rogue.
I don't know if we have.
Here's an interesting talking point, though. Record labels. Would you want to get involved with a record label? Because I think that's quite a tricky one. Yes, I work with labels. We work with labels. They're wonderful things. Love them. I think there's a benefit to it. Like because what essentially for anyone who's like, I don't understand, what a record label can do is it can, like a bank, loan you money that you can use to pay for studio time and to pay for artists to make sure, branding, whatever it is, and to connect you to other people in the industry, to help you potentially find booking agents and get gigs and get your radio play. Like there's a massive benefit to them. But like a bank, you're going to owe them that money back and interest. And so there's a tricky long road with that. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement you can enter if you want to help launch a band if you have nothing else going for you. But you won't own the music ultimately. So there is a downside to that. I think in the current era, I would personally be trying to be as independent as possible for as long as possible to see what I could generate organically online from my own efforts. And then if you can get to the point where labels are interested in the mutual win-win scenario of they see you're grafted, you've got some momentum there, they can help and everyone can kind of earn and do well. Then you can enter into a label conversation where you can license your music to a label a la Sleep Token.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be that big to do that because other bands on smaller levels are kind of doing that. I think that's what I would probably try to do. But then, if you literally have no funds, no technical skills and ability to help generate interest in your band, then a label would be a good option to try and get somewhere to begin with. Yeah,
it's a tricky one because you can imagine the situation, I guess, for a smaller band that's been grafting for, let's say, like 10 years. And they've finally kind of broken through and they've been making fucking no money. Have just been like scraping by for years. And once they do start to make a bit of noise and they've kind of broken through that seal that they've been trying to do for so long, that's when the labels come in. And then they offer like a small sum of money, but you're kind of like giving up the past 10 years of your life essentially with like the body of work that you've put behind you. And it's kind of like at that point where you've been grafting for so long that it's like, we've finally been given some money, but I guess the trade-off is what if we just hold on and go independent? How big can this go? And then we own everything. Whereas you've been grinding for so long that I can imagine people just get beaten down. And then when the label does come in with a lowballed offer, it's kind of like, we have to take it. Like they're offering us like 10K to go and do this crazy, let's say a couple of videos back to back. So it's a tricky one because I can imagine a lot of bands are in that situation where they are just grafting and grafting and grafting. They're trying to like get through and they're paying for this and that. And, they're not made, they're breaking even at best. And then they finally just have like one album that, they start to do well. And, they're still probably just about breaking even, whatever it is. I don't know the actual logistics of it or the finances of it, but you can see the stress is there to just jump at any offer that's given them. And it's just like, is that going to be the best play in the long run? Because you're going to sacrifice whatever percentage to the label over X amount of years. And if you've just broken through, maybe you're on this trajectory now where you've finally broken that ceiling and you're just going to go like this. But because it's such an unknown industry, it's kind of like grab what you can now and hope for the best, or just close your eyes and keep sending it, So it's a tricky one.
I know a metalcore band that are newish that they signed to a label a couple of years ago, and they're on the hook for 5 albums. With that label, it's like that's a huge commitment.
Yeah, that's a big commitment.
That's a lot. And then it almost becomes like, if you ever start to think about that negatively, and at whatever rate they are pumping out albums, let's say it's every 2-3 years, you start thinking of that like 5 album cycle as like, oh my god, this is going to be the next 15 years of my life. So it's like, I don't want to start thinking about it like that. So let's get the albums out faster, and then maybe they're not honing in their craft as much as they would have been, or maybe it gives them like a fire under their ass to actually get albums out, and they start working faster, and maybe that's the kind of inspiration that they need, as opposed to just like, when you don't have a deadline for anything, you can't just technically keep going with it and never actually put something out. So maybe the deadlines can work for some people in good ways, but yeah, it's a tricky one.
You can go. Sorry, what were you going to say, Drew?
I was going to say, I think in this era, from my limited understanding, again, not being in a band, it seems like the landscape has never been better to be independent. So I just don't see why you would be racing to a label. I understand the perks of having a label, like Steve's mentioned, with like, you know, big advances on whatever it is that you may need. But I think I would rather go to like a bank for that loan or whatever, and just know that at least you're paying back the interest to that bank, as opposed to, I know the record label can open up other doors that a bank can't in terms of the industry, but like if it's just a financial thing, it seems like just try get a loan between whatever 5 band members in the band. Each individual person gets a loan and puts it towards something, and then at least you've cut your ties with the bank as soon as the loan's paid off. Whereas with the rights to the music, that could be like, we want the next 15 years of plays on this album, you know.
Yeah, and as we know in the content world, if you're trying to use social media to create awareness of your band, it's probably going to take you a lot of experimenting to find the things that work and what responds well and is in keeping with your concept or your band, whatever it is. I think I'd rather do that without the pressure of, you know, this, I have to pay back this money to this label, this has to work. Like, you can kind of do that on your own first and go, okay, we have a complete thing. Now we can work together with a label, and we know what we're doing, so that we're more confident to be able to mutually work with them in a successful way, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say that you pretty much nailed my thoughts, Steve. Essentially, be as an independent for as long as you can, but I feel like it's almost like kind of impossible to not be on a label. Like, they have those connections, they have the financial stability and everything, but you're on the hook. And it's like what Drew was saying too, like maybe try getting it from a bank, but like ultimately I think just like going to the record label is kind of still the thing to do. But yeah, try to be as independent as long as you can be. But one thing is, once you've worked with the label, then you can do the thing where when you're done with the contract, go independent, and then do like some GoFundMe kind of thing for your next album, which I've seen some bands do. And one of the coolest examples, actually, this was like definitely more popular, I feel like, in, I don't know, like 20 years ago with like Radiohead doing it and Rainbows and stuff. But Protest the Hero, actually, when they got off their label, this was like maybe 2012. They did 3 albums with, I believe it was Victory Records, but then they went independent. And then they did a GoFundMe asking for $125,000 to fund their next album. They filmed like a really funny video and stuff. And they weren't sure how much people cared about Protest the Hero at this point. But lo and behold, they made $135,000. So beat the goal. They made that in like 26 hours.
Holy
so
shit.
They were like, holy shit, people still love us. So they were like very, very surprised by that. And then obviously that kind of kickstarted the band to kind of go into independent. But then what happened like a few years later, they actually got signed to another label. So that didn't last too long. It just seems like a label is just, they kind of have that carrot just dangling from you the whole time, right?
There's
like,
a reason they exist. They work.
Yeah,
They're very,
them,
they know the industry. They can save you years of bashing your head against the wall because, like, oh, this is what we see, this is what we understand. So you can lean on their expertise, which would be super helpful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose before all the label talk, it's definitely the obvious one, which I feel like we haven't really touched on it, which seems crazy, but like hammer TikToks out of it and all this kind of thing. Like, there's nothing stopping you from posting like fucking 20 a day. I know people talk about like crazy numbers of like, you should be posting 15 videos. And it's like, you see these gurus who are like, you know, just 15 different pieces of content. It's like, this is my full-time job and I can't even put out like 3 a day, and they're expecting people to like put out 15. And like, if it's going to be 15 pieces of content, there's no point of putting out 15 like just thrown together pieces because they're all just going to tank. You need to actually put a bit of effort in. So I don't know, but obviously try get as much content out as possible. Again, focused on the music, look at trends, that are happening. It doesn't even have to be music related trends. It can be a trend that's happening, whatever, but tie your music to it. Some people use the I think this is another trap that I see, where they will put their music in like a popular video of like like something that's like very eye catching in terms of like it being a crash or something like that. And all of a sudden people are, well, I suppose there's an argument for it, because if they're watching the video and your song is playing, then you've done exactly what you needed to do, because the song is in the background. You might have 1 million views in that video, and if 5,000 people from that million heard the song and liked it, then that's a fucking massive success. So yeah, kind of counter my own point a little bit here, but
yeah, you discovered music in the heavy rock world from COD videos, so it wasn't about, you know, here, check out this awesome music. That was just in the background that led you down that road. So I can see that working. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I think we've nailed it. TMR band coming soon as well.
The Sad Boy Crywankers. Can't wait.
Yes.
Oh,
or the
Not the Come On My Face? Yeah.
No.
Steve's one. No. It's just, let's not go back there.
I can only apologize.
So good. He's already been cancelled. It's day one.
How would that be cancelled for that?
Joking,
the only problem is our AdSense is going to have to be adjusted for that.
No. We're spelling COME. Come towards on my face.
Oh, okay. I see. Yes. No.
I tried.
If you enjoyed that, if you'd like some more unhinged conversation, there are many unhinged conversations that exist in our bonus episodes. So if you join this channel as a member or join our Patreon as a backstage member, there's all kinds. At this stage, there's almost 30 episodes of like bonus content that you can enjoy. So consider doing that. In fact, right now we're going to record a little bonus episode here. But thanks for tuning into this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Share this podcast with your friends. If you like metal and they like metal, they might enjoy this too. So thanks for tuning in. See you all next week.
Cheers, folks.
Peace.